Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Let's get straight into why I face planted. A couple of weeks ago, my friend Sorrel, an aviator by heart and also an off-road enduro enthusiast, challenged me to a land versus air. The route was set, it was simple. We head out west via Magaliesberg towards Boone and then south to Carletonville, where I will land, refuel, and then we head back. The route out was going to be about 110 kilometers and then back about 90. So as we do, we hopped in a Cessna 182 and we did a flight over the route. As you can see, all pre-flight checks were done. Sorrel, a handsome fella as he is, we took off and turned down the valley along the Magaliesberg Mountains. So just to the right of the silos, that big open green field and the dust roads is the intended landing spot, but also where we're going to meet and refuel. In the top left hand corner you can see the white roof with an orange line. That is the gas station where we would meet and just reassess the route.
The story behind our land versus air adventure is a joint mission between a KTM Enduro 690 off-road motorcycle and a NIRVANA Paramotor on a long-distance test run between the coves at Hartbeespoort Dam and Carletonville. It was inspired by the challenge of JP Seeger and a fellow aviator, where they completed the Coves to Cape Town Paramotor adventure. Land versus air. Who wins between a KTM and a Paramotor over 200 kilometers? Where a KTM and a Paramotor race over a long cross-country distance to see which one truly owns the horizon. They do more than just race around the clock. They show how two different machines, one carving dirt on the road, the other drawing straight lines in the sky, can be matched over the same distance if you respect planning, weather, fuel, and fatigue. Our trip follows the same philosophy, but we go a step further. We aim not just to see who wins, but to arrive together at each key point as a properly synchronized team.
So it was a really nice early start for both of us, up at 4 a.m. I wanted to try to get off the ground at 5:15 so that we can avoid getting caught in the heat. It's been particularly hot this time of year, and I didn't want to end up landing too late. As you can see, the grass is particularly wet. I laid out my wing 2 or 3 times because the wind just changes direction that early in the morning. Very calm, very smooth, but the immediate thing that I realized is I was heading straight out into a headwind, and that was not on the weather forecast. As you can see, there's Sorrel going from the tar road straight onto the dirt road. I kind of stayed with him until he had to veer off into different directions, and I was all by myself, but not actually. I was also ended up flying with my friends Bill Harrop's Original Balloon Safaris, who I enjoy flying with. There was probably about half an hour in when I realized that this headwind was burning a little bit too much fuel. I must acknowledge that I've got a really good fuel burn with the NIRVANA in calm conditions, but I started realizing that I was burning way too much. About 40 minutes into the flight, I notified Cyril that I have to head straight to Carltonville because this headwind was burning too much fuel. As the longer I stayed on the intended route, I don't think I would have made the turning point where I could actually reach a gas station. I know that Cyril stood probably for about 90% of this ride, and you can see how narrow these roads are. Nothing is a 0 to 100 kilometer straight line. He had to stop, turn, stand up, sit down, readjust, and obviously get all the juices flowing with that vibration. But he provided some absolutely fantastic footage. Really grateful that he managed to do it, and you'll see in the end of the video how we actually managed to do it. I was particularly underdressed for this flight. I didn't expect it to be so chilly in the morning. So about 20 minutes out before the landing, I was getting particularly cold. But nonetheless, what I found interesting was the closer I got, the headwind had actually started dying down. So flying about, I didn't find any route markers or anything that would indicate which way the wind was coming from. So I went by speed on the Gaggle app, and I actually landed coming in the opposite direction of the headwind. I generally land at about 50 km per hour, and I tend to drag my feet just to bleed off some speed before I fully brake. But as you can see, my foot got caught. I couldn't recover and bring it forward, and I had a catastrophic face plant. Thankfully nothing was broken and I wasn't hurt. Well, I can't say that was one of the most memorable flights, but I am safe. We're here in Carltonville. This morning we took off in Hartbeespoort Dam, the Coves, and the flight did not go as intended. I took off just a westerly headwind, fuel burn was through the roof, so I had to reroute and just head straight for Carltonville. Nonetheless, the area that I landed, everything was going well until I put my foot down. Something caught it and I face planted, but I am safe. The intention was always to land here at Astron to refuel. I thankfully have refueled, got my mixture and a little bit of oil with us, and you'll hear from Cyril very shortly. Let's hope my takeoff is sound. You don't want to do that too often. And let's head back home. So just a quick recap from the flight from the Coves via Magaliesburg to Carltonville, and you can see the Gaggle flight route versus the intended flight route. It did not go according to plan, but I played it safe. I ended up landing with 2 liters of fuel, which I think is the mature thing to do, is to avoid the route and do what is right. Cyril, tell me about your ride here, land versus air.
So it was quite challenging with the gravel roads being in a very bad state after the heavy rains in Gauteng.
Yes.
But nevertheless, time-wise, I think we were out by about 20 minutes. If we take over the distance, it's not too bad.
Yes.
So we made it up, pushed it a little bit. Yeah, unfortunate for the headwind, for your dependency.
Yep.
You got to look after your fuel and your endurance. My dependency, realized, is the condition of the road. So if the condition is better, I can keep my speed up, otherwise I'm falling back. So but I think there was about a 20-minute difference between your landing time and my arrival time.
That's it.
Which is not too bad. So we'll head back now. You're gonna go straight through. You're gonna most probably have a slight tailwind, and I'm going to take the same route back to the gravel roads, slow it down a little bit, and then we'll see what is our arrival times.
Perfect.
Both from air and sea when we head back to Coves.
And the most important thing is safety first.
Always and safety first.
Stay in touch, and thank you for this.
Yeah, always.
First leg done, second one to go. We see you at home.
Go, halfway.
Dankie man.
Lekker.
Well, that's one happy pilot. I mean, the wind was changing so much, particularly it being at about 9:15, me taking off in the heat of the day, and it is in the middle of summer here in South Africa at the moment, so we're really feeling it in the Highveld. But I was very happy to take off in that. I did realize I took off in a crosswind, but the wind was changing so much, and I was just getting so tired of carrying nearly 40-kilogram machine and harness and all my equipment and lugging it around and opening up my wings. So I just wanted to do this once and get off the ground. But as you can see, I very soon realized that although I had a nice tailwind, I was being chucked around like popcorn, and I had released my trimmers, picked up really nice speed, but the surge was just a little bit too much, so I had to go into full brakes, and I was in between tip steering to catch a wing from oscillating and pitching. So while I'm hard at work trying not to be blown out of sky, at least saw one of my favorite homes. But Cyril was hard at work in the heat of the day, retracing his tracks. He gave some really good footage on a reverse video. Don't ask me how he got this done, but as I said earlier, you'll see at the end of the video how much hard work actually went into recording. And what a welcome sight, the coves, and right next to it is the Aviators Paramotor Club. I normally do a runway inspection, as I've learned from all the aviators that live in the estate, but I just wanted to get my feet on the ground, stretch my legs, and get something to drink. Okay, so we are back down safe and sound, thank the Pope. Man, that was a tough flight back, albeit I had a really nice tailwind. Landed safe. It was just incredibly bumpy. I mean, flying at 10 o'clock in the day is going to get that. I kind of got away with it because it was really cold this morning, so it wasn't any madness ensuing, but I'm just glad to be on the ground. Wind was everywhere. That takeoff in Carlton was wicked. It was just the wind was changing direction. I didn't enjoy that, not at all. And when you're carrying such a heavy load, full tank and some supplies, last thing you want to do is blow a launch, and I did. But I think it was just the changing of the wind, gave it an extra second, and it got off the ground quite easily. So land and air. Cyril is still incoming, but kudos to him, what a champ. I know he's got the hardest part of all of this, having to stand on a motorbike, navigating trenches, muddy roads, narrow roads, locked gates, all of those things. He's about 15 minutes out, but in his defense, I flew as the crow flies, cut the 110 kilometer trip by about 20-30 kilometers to get back, just because of it getting so much warmer, and he also had to reroute, but we're going to replan. Couldn't be happier about getting out of bed for this flight on the day. So the distance flying back was 83 kilometers or 51 miles. It was a really rapid flight back, 1 hour 25 in comparison to the nearly 2 hours out, and only burned 6 liters of fuel, which is 4 liters less than going out. Nonetheless, the total distance flown was 171 kilometers. I'd definitely get out of bed for that. And the total hours is 3 hours and 30 minutes. Based on those trees and where Cyril is right now, he actually doesn't have too far to go, but I can only but imagine he still traveled 100 kilometers further than me and significantly more tired, but kudos to him for not giving up. Here comes Cyril. A man just doesn't sit on a motorbike. From my understanding, doing enduro riding, there's not much sitting. But here he comes. What a brave soul. Oh, fantastic! It was messy, but we got it done.
Well done, But.
Well done.
What time did you land?
10:20, which was half an hour ago.
All right.
Yeah, but remember, you went other routes.
Yeah, I took the tar road from Magali side. I took it back.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah. Because I thought if I'm gonna take the gravel road, it would be at least another hour.
Oh, no ways. Richard, congrats, man.
262.
Thank you for challenging me to do this.
It's a pleasure, but
So on top of just trying to stay on the road, the mad heat, all the bounciness, so I'll still manage to put out a selfie stick and try and get some footage. Very, very grateful. This test flight, this test road run was significantly harder than we both realized, but we're not going to stop here. Something very exciting is coming.
So how did we perform on the test run? And how will the machines really perform on this north to south Beitbridge to Cape Agulhas concept? First, it shows that on long distance mixed surface travel, time is not about headline speed. The KTM might be capable of 160 kilometers per hour on tar, but over 136 kilometers of gravel, the true test is whether it can sit at a disciplined 55 to 65 kilometers an hour average without incident. It's a very different skill set. Secondly, it highlights how closely a well-ridden bike can match an aircraft over real distances. The KTM often closes gaps when the Paramotor has to respect weather or routing constraints, and our figures tell the same story. Give the KTM clear navigation and a competent rider, and it can arrive within minutes of a Paramotor. That is literally flying in a straight line. Thirdly, it underlines the importance of preparation. A neglected chain, a soft tire, or a vague route can undo hours of careful timing. Treat it with the same seriousness as we give the Paramotor: pre-ride inspection, fuel planning, and a clear timing profile. The KTM becomes a legitimate cross-country platform, not just a toy.
Thanks for watching and see you soon.